Swarajya Samrajya Vibhutiresha Bhavat Kripa Shri Mahima Prasadat Prapta Maya Shri Gurave Mahatmani Namo Namastestu Punarnamostu Namo Namastestu Punarnamostu Namo Namastestu Punarnamostu Namastasmai Sadaikasmai Kasmai Chinmahase Namaha Yadetad Vishwarupa Rupena Rajate Guru Rajate Yadetad Vishwarupena Rajate Guru Rajate. Hari Om Tat Sat. So yesterday was the introduction to mainly to the Bhagavad Gita. What is the sadhana and what is the speciality of Bhagavad Gita? And today we will start with the 14th chapter. We said that Bhagavad Gita is presenting a sadhana which can be practiced by anybody working in any field of activity. Whereas Upanishadic sadhana is mainly meant for the renunciates who are not involved in worldly activities. And in that he repeatedly says the activities, with what kind of an intention, what kind of a mindset, what kind of emotions we are doing the activity, that has to be changed. The mindset has to be changed. And by that every moment of our life will become sadhana. And this yoga he has named as Buddhi Yoga. The ordinary karma or ordinary activities, they are far inferior. In the previous shloka they have said that it is far inferior than this Buddhi Yoga, the activities done with Buddhi Yoga. What is the Buddhi Yoga? The intelligence, that is the Buddhi or our understanding, it has to be anchored in our real identity, in the truth. Normally our Buddhi is slave to the world, is it not? Our senses are slave to the world. To gratify the senses, our mind becomes slave to the world. And to gratify the mind and senses, the Buddhi gives us suggestions how you can best gratify your senses and the mind. So Buddhi is also slave to the world. The whole Bhagavad Gita is to change this, thus to invert this equation. Now what is happening? The world is controlling the senses, and through the senses, world is controlling the mind, and again through the senses and mind, the world is controlling the intelligence also. So our being is completely slave to the worldly situation, worldly attraction and repulsions, let us say, raga dvesha. Whereas Bhagavad Gita is saying that your intelligence can know the truth, which is transcending the intelligence also. So that truth, which is our real identity, the consciousness in us, the Atma we say, it is not touched by any of the worldly attraction, repulsion or anything. It doesn't get changed anywhere. It is imperishable, immortal, unchanging truth. But our buddhi is capable of knowing that truth. Even without knowing also, the buddhi can establish those properties of the soul, that when we know the soul, what is it? It is immortal, it is unaffected by anything, unaffected by sukha dukkha, it is all-embracing, universal, it is not attached to any of the bodies or so. So all these soul dimensions, if we can incorporate your mind while remaining active, then whatever is the goal of meditation to experience the soul through meditation, the same goal has to be implanted in our interactive life also. Are you understanding this point or not? Whenever we are active, if you are behaving in a selfish manner, in a constricted manner, immediately the buddhi should tell us, no, this is not the way. Think impartially and impersonally as the soul is. So buddhi yoga means the buddhi is anchored in the truth of our identity, in the soul, in the Atma. So the buddhi is always able to get the Atmic dimension and implant it in mind and emotion and everywhere. So whatever impersonal, impartial, infinite or universal or transcendental soul we experience in Samadhi, if we don't have the experience of Samadhi also, because it is rare, the experience of Samadhi is rare. If it is not there also, it doesn't prevent us to incorporate the soul dimension in our activities. It is discussed in the scriptures, what are those dimensions? Every chapter, in 2nd chapter, in 12th chapter, in 14th chapter, in 13th chapter, everywhere they have discussed the qualities of a knower. Who is a knower? Who has experienced the soul and that has changed his vision. So, what change has happened in vision, that is discussed here in all the chapters by the Sthita Prajna Darshana or Sthita Prajna qualities, Bhakta Lakshanas, Jnana Lakshanas, all these are given. So what we have to do is buddhi has to be anchored in this soul dimension, and every moment of action or thinking even, it will have to incorporate the soul dimension in our mind. That whenever we are acting in a constricted manner, in a selfish manner, getting affected by the world, the moment we are affected by the world, the buddhi yukta, that buddhi yoga is such that the buddhi will incorporate the unaffectedness in the mind. Why the mind is getting affected? Why are we slave to the world? We have enough of power and dimension to rule, to win over all the affectation. I don't get affected by anything at all. It is only the mind suffers from dukkha, it is the body suffers from pain, and I am a witness of it. That soul dimension, the buddhi is supposed to incorporate in the mind. So what happens then? The buddhi is guided by the soul, by our real identity, by the absolute truth. Then that buddhi is guiding the mind. So through the buddhi, the mind is guided by the soul, our real identity. And mind and buddhi together incorporate that dimension. It sublimates the senses also, that this is not your way. So what happens? Senses means the raga dvesha we are constantly suffering from by being slave to the world. Those raga dvesha will be eliminated by the buddhi. Do you get how the whole thing is getting reversed? Normally the body is following, the senses are following the world, slave to the world. Following the senses, the mind is slave to the world. Following the mind, the buddhi is also slave to the world. Because we are not incorporating the dimension which is transcending the buddhi. Now Bhagavad Gita says, Yo buddhehe paratastu saha. There is something which is transcending the buddhi also. Buddhi is not the highest dimension. Evam buddhehe param buddhva samstabhya atmanam atmana jahishatrum mahabaho kamarupam durasadam. That is, knowing that the higher transcendental, that which is transcendental to the buddhi, that means the Atma, our real identity, our true identity. Knowing that, you win over all the desires and whatever attraction, repulsion we are suffering from in the world, remaining active in the world. That is called Buddhi Yoga. So the whole Bhagavad Gita is this Buddhi Yoga. And he has presented this by practicing these various qualities. They are all same, but they are presented in different manner. You can follow all, you can follow any of them, the result will be the same. You will become free. The result is, we will not get bound by anything at all. We will become absolutely harmonious with nature, free, not bound by anything. So this samatva, asangatva, jajya bhavana, bhava, outliving ragadvesha, sharanagati, all these I have explained yesterday in a very brief manner, and transcending gunas is our topic of this. Now why this guna is so important? Because it gives directly a ready method to work on. That is, it deals with our everyday action, what we are eating, what we are seeing, what we are reading, how we are interacting with people. They are all controlled by the three gunas. Triguna is a beautiful model that our scriptures have presented. Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, the three qualities. And with that we can understand our whole life structure and how to improve, how to win over the slavery to the gunas. With that, slavery also will be won by activating the gunas only. That is why we have said gunas bind us and gunas liberate us also. Only we have to understand the gunas, that how they are binding us and how I have to liberate myself. Is there any difficulty in what I am speaking? Should it go over the head? Yesterday those who said, you tell. Is it going over the head? Whenever you feel like that, you tell me, I will come down further. But I think the main problem is your backlog. That you have developed some idea about Atma, some idea about spirituality, and that hinders the understanding. If you can keep them deposited over the tree like Arjuna's weapons and all on the tree, when they in Ajnata Vasa, everything will be easy. So, now we will start with the transcending gunas. But always remember, whatever method of any of the six we follow, everything is the buddhi yoga of Bhagavad Gita. And this yoga means yuktata. That means buddhi has to be identified, buddhi has to be anchored in our truth, in the fundamental truth, in our real identity. And then from there the instructions will come to the mind and to the senses also. Then the life will be led, it will be divinized. The whole life will be divinized by that. Any action we do, it will get divinized, because we are always doing anchored in the Atma, soul, which is the same as godly dimension also. Our spiritual shastras, they discuss in terms of the three guna model. Now, this is not absolute. Suppose initially when we learn the colors, we say Vibjior, is it not? The 7 colors, that sun has got 7 colors. It is all actually fictitious. That is, when we are splitting the light through a prism, we find the different colors. In color, we are distinguishing, we are making 7 arbitrary divisions. That this is red, this is orange, this is yellow, this is green, like that. Actually, you could have divided the whole color spectrum into 14, 21 or 100 colors also, depending on where you are cutting, and it's all the same, all are electromagnetic waves having different wavelengths. Where we'll cut and divide that this is another color depends absolutely on us. But major 7 colors they have divided. Like that, gunas also, this division of 3 gunas, they are divided for our convenience, that these are the 3 gunas, so that we can understand nature and our personality well. But there will be subtle overlapping of the gunas also. That is Sattva Guna and Rajoguna. It will never be clearly one Sattva, one Rajoguna like that. There will be a mixture of the two of various proportions and all. That will create the personality. So we have to think that with these 3 modes, they are called, the guna means there are 2 ways. One is the mode. Mode is the correct term. We can say qualities or characteristics also. There is no English. That is one. Another is, guna is also meant by, suppose you have a rope. Each strand is a guna there. In a rope, there are 3 strands are there which are twisted and made into a rope. So those strands are also called in Sanskrit gunas. Dhanurguna, the bow rope there on which we fix the arrow, it is made of different strands. Even in our electrical cable also, you will find quite a number of their joint. Now it means that why that meaning can also be taken, because the rope binds us. Rope is for binding, and in that binding all the three gunas also, the three strands together will bind. They will be there. So both meanings are there, but we will take it as the characteristics, the characteristic qualities. Now in our Shastras, gunas are used, this three guna model is used for nature as well as for human personality. There's a whole nature is made of these three gunas. And human personality is a product of nature. So that is also made of the three gunas. Even in scientific level also, it has great meaning. Because there also something to exist. Suppose an elementary particle or something to exist, it has to have these three gunas. How? The first of all, any creation, whether it is a small particle or even lesser than the particles, anything that is created means it is a change. Something is created means it is a change. Whether it is electron, proton you say, or the sub-electronic particle you say, or wave you say, whatever you say. Creation means there is a change. There is an energy involved. Without energy means there is a vibration involved. There is a change involved. Without change, without using energy, there cannot be any creation, there cannot be any destruction also. There cannot be anything. So without Rajoguna, there cannot be anything. It must have Rajoguna in it to exist. The second point is that Tamoguna, which represents inertia. Why I said Rajoguna? Rajoguna represents activity, energy. That is why I said, I forgot to tell. The Tamoguna represents inertia, inertial effect. Jadata, we say, Jadya. Inertia. Now, without inertia also nothing can exist. An elementary particle, it may exist for 10 to the power minus 21 second or so. Almost nothing. But still it has to stay for a certain time to exist. So that is the inertial part of it. It should have a certain mass, it's not weight, but it's mass of a certain energy. That is called the inertia. Without the inertia, nothing can stay because it is non-existing then. For a certain time, it has to exist. That is, it must have a certain amount of tamoguna also. And if anything that is not known by the consciousness, it cannot exist. There could be many things in the world which we do not know. There might be another world here of another dimension which we do not know. Unless it strikes the consciousness, it doesn't exist for us. So even in physics also, to know anything, the observer has to be there. And the moment the observer tries to find out something, it interacts with that. So this revelation is the third or the first property of existence. So what are the three properties? One is it has to be revealed to the consciousness, to the observer. Second is that it has to have a certain energy. And the third is it has to have a certain lifespan. That is the inertia which is given by the inertia. That is the sattva, which is the revelatory power, consciousness. Second is the energy, the rajoguna, and the third is the tamoguna or the inertia part of it. Now, this is, I am talking from the point of view of modern science. Let that remain. That is not required to understand this. So this, anything in nature, Bhagavad Gita is saying that na tadasti prithivyamba divi deveshu va punaha sattvam prakriti jair muktam yadevhi syat tribhir gunaihi. Na tadasti prithivyamba divi deveshu va punaha sattvam prakriti jair muktam yadevhi syat tribhir gunaihi. He says in this world, the Prithvi, the earth, on this earth, or any heaven, or anywhere in the horizon, in the sky, or in existence, they are cannot be any existence. Sattva means which exist. There cannot be any existence which is not constituted of these three gunas. Yadevhisyat trivirgunai na tadasti. Nothing can exist which is not consisting of three gunas. So if you say that the knower has gone beyond the three gunas, means he is no more having the three gunas, it is wrong. These misconceptions are very much prevalent, so I am emphasizing so much. Knower has only gone over transcended the bondages created by the three gunas. He has become free. So he is not affected by the functioning of the gunas. As long as his body, his personality lives, it has to be constituted of the three gunas. Out under the spell of the tamaguna, he will go to sleep. Under the spell of rajoguna, he will be given to some activity, either physical or mental or anywhere, or at least the prana activity, that is also rajoguna. And under the action of the sattva guna, his mind will always know something. The awareness, that is the sattva guna effect. Revelation. Under the effect of sattva guna, without that, he will not be able to know anything. So, they are right here, they are preventing the thought that we may have that we will be freed of we will not have the rajoguna, tamaguna, we will only have sattva guna. It is not possible. All the three gunas will be there in anything that is existing either here on earth or anywhere in the universe, whether it is heaven or so, other universe also. 18th chapter, 40th verse. Na tadasti prithivyam va divi deveshu va punaha sattvam prakritijair muktam yadevhisyat trivirgunai. Very important verse, that is why I am saying. Let us not have any misconception that one of the gunas will not be there also. All the three gunas will be there. 18th chapter, 40th shloka. Now let us come to the 14th chapter. I will not take up all the verses, I will take only the important verses in this 8 days. And we may have to move to 18th chapter for explaining some of the verses. We may have to move to 17th chapter or 3rd chapter for explaining the verses. That I will do. But our purpose is to understand the concept very well so that we can apply in life. Not reading all the shlokas. It starts with a good shloka, I will just tell. Param bhuyah pravakshyami jnananam jnanamuttamam yad jnatva munayah sarve param siddhimito gataha. He again, many chapters he is starting like that. Param bhuyah means again. That means already he had explained. He is again explaining jnananam jnanamuttamam, the highest knowledge. I am going to explain to you, O Arjuna, again the supreme knowledge. Yad jnatva munayah sarve param siddhimito gataha. By knowing which all the thoughtful people, intelligent people, those who are given to analysis, meditation and vichara. Vichara is very important. Param siddhimito gataha. They have attained the highest of attainment in life, in human life. Idam jnanam upashritya mama sadharmyamagataha sargepi nopajayante pralayena vyathanticha. By taking refuge, jnanam upashritya, ashritya means taking refuge in this knowledge. It is not just knowing the knowledge, reading from the book. Taking refuge in this knowledge, that means applying the knowledge in life and absorbing the knowledge, actualizing the knowledge. Ashraya means that. Ashraya means taking refuge in that. What has happened? Mama sadharmyamagataha. That people, those who have taken refuge to this knowledge, they have attained my sadharma. That whatever Krishna is, according to they also had attained that kind of dharmas, that characteristics. What means that? What does it mean? It means that they also have become knower. And who is a knower? He says, Sargepi nopajayante pralayena vyatanticha. They will neither be born during the creation nor be dying during the destruction. That pralaya means the absolute destruction. What do you call it in English? Deluge. They will neither be born during the creation of the universe nor will die during the destruction of the universe. Does it sound meaningful? What does it mean? Destruction of the universe means every objective things will be destroyed, but they will not die. What does it mean? It means that by that application, that refuge, taking refuge in the knowledge, they will identify with me, means Krishna is one who has identified with the supreme truth, which is beyond all objects. The whole objective universe is only appearing in that consciousness. We feel that it is solid and the consciousness is something not solid. It is not so. This idea of solidity, liquidity, or gaseousness, or existing, non-existing, everything, they are all concepts in the consciousness of us. That is our real I. So whenever we say that they will not be created, they will not be dying, means they go beyond the birth and death. Birth and death is applicable to all created objects. When we speak about immortality or impartiality, it should be immediately thought that it is nothing in the world. In the world, in the universe, nothing can be immortal, nothing can be unchanging, nothing can be imperishable. No, for certain. Because everything in the world is created, undergoing a change and finally going to extinction. You cannot think of immortality, imperishability, unaffectedness, anything in the world. It is only applicable to the consciousness which is revealing the world, revealing the internal world of thoughts and emotions and external world of objects. That consciousness, in that the whole world is written. As we write in the air, you write dog and you write elephant and you write God. It's all a writing in the air. Like that, the whole universe, external as well as the internal world of thoughts and emotions, they are all writing on that consciousness alone. As in the film we see and we respond to it, crying, laughing and all that, so many things are happening. But it is all written in light, is it not? Like that, the whole universe is written on the consciousness. So it means that they will never be born and never die, means they will identify with that real identity which is the consciousness or Atma or Brahman. That is, I am thinking now that I am the body-mind personality. Nothing will change in the body-mind personality, but we will start identifying not with the body-mind personality but with the universal consciousness. That is the only shift. Shift is only in the identity, from the egoistic small identity to the universal, changeless, immortal identity. That is why they become immortal, we say. Because it was an experiential realization, so our rishis could sing thousands and thousands of years ago. They sang Shrinvantu Vishve Amritasya Putraha Aye Dhamani Divyani Tastuhu Vedahametam Purusham Mahantam Aditya Varnam Tamasah Parastat Tameva Viditva Atimrityumeti Nanya Pantha Vidyate Ayanaya. He is saying, oh, you listen, you are all children of immortality. How can anybody call the whole mankind? That you all listen, you are under delusion. You are not mortal men. You are all children of immortality. Who will be the children of immortality? They will also be immortal, is it not? How can he say and give a call with so much of confidence? He himself is saying, how am I saying this? Because I have known that Mahantam Purusham, who is beyond the darkness. Darkness means not the physical darkness, but the ignorance. Tam eva viditva atimrityumeti. Once we know him, who is our own real identity, then we cross over death. That is why we become immortal. This you have to remember throughout. That he is saying that this Triguna model, this knowledge, how the gunas are functioning and binding us, and how they can be used to liberate us. By taking refuge in this knowledge, a person will attain sadharma, my sadharma. That means he will never die, he will never be born. That means he will go beyond this created universe, which creation and under the spell of creation and destruction. In scientific logic, we will say that he will go beyond the causal chain. The whole universe is moving under cause and effect, cause and effect. Only when we know our Atma, the soul, the consciousness, we find that the whole objective world, this causality is a law operating in the objective universe, subtle as well as gross. But I am never touched by anything of that. So he goes beyond the causality. That is why he becomes immortal. Without transcending causality, nobody can become immortal. Body can never become immortal. He can identify with the immortality by transcending the causal chain. Are you understanding? I am putting it into a scientific language because I have known it in like that manner. Being a physicist, I could not have accepted everything without thinking in this manner. The logic I am utilizing is a different logic. Our Shastric logic is on the basis, it's a different kind of a logic which none of you will accept. To understand that you have to become a student of logic, to know the Advaita logic of, it is called in English, Anvaya and Vyatireka, that is one part of it. So you have to learn the logic and then analyze, but that will be argumentation. In this case, we are using the natural science, the logic of natural science, which is directly feelable for us. So, saying that, he goes on to present the... So let us go over to 5th verse of 14th chapter. Now, I will read half a line and you repeat so that you remember. Sattvam rajastamaiti
Sattvam rajastamaiti
Guna prakriti sambhavaha
Guna prakriti sambhavaha
Nibadhnanti mahabaho
Nibadhnanti mahabaho
Dehe dehinam avyayam.
Dehe dehinam avyayam.
Each word you have to understand. That is why we always say, why don't you put a little effort and learn Sanskrit? Without that you will not have the joy of these presentations. He says, Sattvam Rajaha Tama iti. Tamaha iti. These are three, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Gunaha Prakriti Sambhavaha. These are the three. It can be interpreted in two manners, that they are born of nature or they are creating nature, both ways. They have created the nature or they are born of nature. Actually, it's not different. Prakriti itself is a combination of these three gunas. The whole Prakriti, nature, functions through these three gunas. That is the meaning. Nibadhanti Mahabaho. Oh Mahabaho, Arjuna is being called as Mahabaho. Mahabaho means who has long hands and all. They Nibadhanti. Whom? Dehinam. That Deha is the body. And Dehi is the Purusha who is residing in the body. That is our so-called identity we think of. Purusha also has got two meanings. Because of whatever we are studying, Purusha is interpreted in two manners. One is Purishete iti Purushaha. That means who is residing in the limited body. He is called Purusha. So our inner personality, our inner soul is called Purusha. The Atma is called Purusha there. And Purnam Anena Sarvamiti Purushaha. That is by which everything is pervaded. That is also Purusha. That is our real identity, on which the whole universe is appearing to be. So Purusha, our ordinary Purusha is limited by the body-mind personality, but that is not our real identity. When we understand our real identity, that Purusha gets fused into the Purna Manena Sarvamiti, by which who is all pervading. There cannot be two like that. There cannot be even one also. It is the transcendental consciousness or Atma or Brahman. So he says that Dehe Abhyayam Dehinam Nivadnanti. These three gunas, they are binding, they bind the Dehi. Dehi means the Purusha. What kind of a Purusha? Dehi? Avyayam Dehinam. Avyayam means which is unchanging. So we always think that I am dukkhi, I am feeling sorry, I am feeling happy, I am becoming this, becoming that, I have been insulted, I have been honored. If I feel I have been honored, I feel elated. If I feel I have been insulted, I feel depressed. All these things are happening because the Dehi, our Dehi, the I, is associating with the body-mind personality and incorporating all that is affectation happening to the personality to the I. So he says that no, it is not true. In reality the Dehi, which is we are referring as I, it is Avyaya, it is unchanging, it can never get affected, it never becomes Sukhi, never becomes Dukkhi, it never gets angry, it can never get agitated. It is only a witness of all these things. It's a revealer of all these things. So such an Avyayam Dehinam, such an unchanging, imperishable Purusha, I, these three gunas, they bind them to the body-mind personality and make him small. That is what the statement is. Avyayam Dehinam Nivadnanti. That is, we are trapped by the gunas, and because of that we are thinking that I am this puny. If my books do not come, I get agitated. What has gone wrong? If the food doesn't come that day, oh, who has ordered, who has cross-ordered, and so much of agitation. Nothing has happened anywhere. I am not saying that you should not be concerned. You have to be concerned about everything, but not getting agitated, thinking that I am suffering. So that universal, immortal, unchanging I, these three gunas are with their effect, they are making that trapped in the body-mind cage and makes us suffer, enjoy and whatnot. Is it clear or not? If it becomes clear, then you will become liberated right now. So it's better that it doesn't become clear. Then he goes on to define what are the three gunas and how they bind. This has to be first known. Then how will the liberation come will be coming after that. So the sixth verse. Tatra sattvam nirmalatvat.
Tatra sattvam nirmalatvat.
Prakashakamanāmayam.
Prakashakamanāmayam.
Sukhasangena badhnāti.
Sukhasangena badhnāti.
Jnānasangena chānagha.
Jnānasangena chānagha.
Tatra sattvam nirmalatvat.
Tatra sattvam nirmalatvat.
Prakashakamanāmayam.
Prakashakamanāmayam.
Sukhasangena badhnāti.
Sukhasangena badhnāti.
Jnānasangena chānagha.
Jnānasangena chānagha.
Anagha, not anaka or anaga. Anagha. Sukhasangena cha anagha. Anagha means nishpapa, that means sinless, pure. So he is calling Arjuna as pure. Otherwise, he will not be able to understand what Krishna is speaking. So, address to Arjuna changes in shlokas. Here it is, he is addressing Arjuna as, oh pure-hearted Arjuna, Anagha. It's a very good name given to the people also. Generally to the girls it is given as Anagha. It won't be Anagha. It will be Anagha for the girls. Akara long. He says, he defines the Sattva Guna. He says Nirmalatvat, because of its purity, it doesn't have any impurity in it. It has the quality of Prakasha, revelation. Clear revelation, just like light, just like our knowledge. Suppose we don't know something, we are struggling, suddenly the truth you are shown that this is what it is. So it is a revelation. Even the world we are knowing, it is because of the Sattva Guna. The awareness we have is mainly the Sattva Guna content in our personality makes us aware. I will come to that in greater detail after we do the three gunas. He says that it is anamaya, means absolutely pure and without any impurity, without any cloud. It is the revelatory power, revealing power. But although it is the revealing power, it binds us. Actually the third one he has given first. It should come after Tama and Raja, but he has first said that don't be enamored of Sattva Guna also. Everybody would try to become Sattva Guni. That is very true. But know that Sattva Guna also binds. What is the binding? Sukha sangena badnati jnana sangena chanagha. It binds us with the, everywhere the clinging, the bondage is coming from Sangha. That you must first understand. Sangha means it is not the reality. You are developing an uncalled for clinging towards something. That is called Sangha. You call it attachment. I am using the clinging. Either good or bad clinging. So it is developing a clinging to happiness, sukha, or clinging to knowledge. Sukha sangena, jnana sangena. Badnati. That is, Sattva Guna is binding us with two kinds of Sangha, two kinds of clinging. One is to clinging to Sukha and clinging to knowledge. Now, we have to be very careful because Sukha also of many kinds are there. There can be a fulfillment of some desire will give us Sukha. Fulfillment of wrong desire also will give us Sukha. That can the Sattva Guna bind us to that? So, Bhagavad Gita we have to read in a thorough manner, in a wholesome manner. In 18th chapter, everything they have defined in terms of these three. If you go to the 18th chapter, you will find Sattvika Sukha, Rajasa Sukha, Tamasa Sukha. What is Sattvika Sukha? What is Rajasa Sukha? What is Tamasa Sukha? Is defined clearly. That is in 18.20 and here have you given? See that? Clinging to Sattvika Sukha. When we are talking about bondage and we are saying that Sattva Guna bind us to the Sukha, we have to go to the 18th chapter and find out what is the Sattvika Sukha, because Sattva Guna will bind us to Sattvika Sukha. Rajoguna will bind us to Rajasika elements. Tamoguna will bind us to Tamasika element. So Sukha is also three kinds. But Sattva Guna will bind us to Sattvika Sukha. What is that Sattvika Sukha? We have to go to 18.37. I will go there. Then clinging to Sattvika Jnana. Jnana also they have defined as three. Sattvika Jnana, Rajasa Jnana, Tamasa Jnana in 18th chapter. Karma defined as three. All Rajoguna, Tamoguna, Sattvaguna, they have defined everything. Karma also three. Karta also three. Dhriti also three. Everything that we are concerned with of our qualities, everything can be Sattvika, Rajasika and Tamasika. And which guna we are studying, according to that we have to go to that chapter. This is a very, very secret I am telling you. Generally people don't understand this. Sukha sangena badnati. If you want to practice, you have to know it. Otherwise you will accept that, oh, everybody is clinging to Sukha, whether it is a Rajoguni or a Tamoguni or a Sattvaguni. Then in application he will be halted, he will not be able to apply it. This is how the scriptures have to be read. That you have to be very attentive to this. Now what is the Sattvika Sukha? You go to 18.37 and see. Yattadagre vishamiva. See, read. Yattadagre vishamiva. Pariname amritopamam.
Pariname amritopamam.
Tat sukham sattvikam proktam.
Tat sukham sattvikam proktam.
Atma buddhi prasadajam.
Atma buddhi prasadajam.
He says that which initially appears to be like poison, but at the end, amritopamam, like nectar. You see that when you make a boy study, force him to study, he thinks studying is a poison. He wants to play only. Then when he has mastered the language, learned the grammar, mastered the language, he can read the books. Then he will find he is glued down to the books. He likes whatever story books he likes. So initially he was refusing to do it. But when he has undergone the discipline of learning the language, then he has got the joy of it. So Sattva Guna means you have to undergo a certain discipline to have the nectar and joy. Initially it is difficult. Suppose we tell you to sacrifice something for others. Even if the Guru tells the Shishya will find it very difficult because they are clinging to money, clinging to property, they don't want to give it to others. So initially it is poisonous. Why Swamiji is asking me to give? But when you give sacrifice for others, then you get the joy of sacrifice. You get another kind of a joy. It is not a sensory joy. I always tell the story of the ice cream that I have told. I don't want to repeat now. Don't you all know? You don't know? Briefly I will say that a boy used to go to the park with the father. And in Calcutta, it's a fact, it's not a story. In the park there were a lot of people selling various things. Ice cream is one of the most coveted thing there. The children will come, they will ask for the ice cream. So the father used to give the boy, as you also spoil your son by giving every day an ice cream. The father used to spoil him by giving every day an ice cream, and the boy used to eat. They used to see that in Calcutta particularly, you will find many urchin boys are standing here and there. When you throw away the cup, they will take the cup, they will split open and they will lick whatever is sticking to the paper or so. Or if anybody throws anything, they will eat. This boy used to see that, particularly one boy who would every day take and then lick it. But he never felt about that I can sacrifice for him. That thought doesn't come. They are urchin boys, they are eating, I will get the full ice cream. It was going on like this. One day the father felt that it is wrong. The boy is not having the sympathy for the people around. I must grow something in him. So that day he purchased the ice cream, and when he was about to take it, he said, today, every day you are getting, today you don't take it. You give it to that boy. So he was a good boy. So he gave it to the urchin boy, poor boy. And when that boy, he never have got a full cup of ice cream. So when that boy started taking the ice cream, this boy got so much of joy. He never got that joy by eating the ice cream, which was bringing the ice cream to his tongue. So he saw and he was delighted to see the other boy enjoying the ice cream. And there is more to it. After that boy took half the cup, he looked up to the tree and a monkey came down. He gave the half cup to the monkey. Seeing that the father and the boy, they got so much of joy. This boy never gets a full cup of ice cream. And today first time he got the ice cream, and he is sacrificing the half cup to the monkey. So the joy they got today, what kind of a joy? Is it eating ice cream joy? Eating ice cream joy will go as soon as the ice cream is over. That, not only that, if you go on feeding with ice cream, how many will you take? After the second or third, if you are too greedy, 5 you will take. After that you will want, no, please save me, I cannot take any more. No, you like ice cream, take. So if the joy is in the ice cream, then as much of ice cream we will give, so much of joy you should get. Then why are you saying no? Then the joy is not in the ice cream, joy is in your mind, that you wanted to eat ice cream and that is getting fulfilled. And this joy, what they got, is it a temporary joy or almost a permanent joy? Because whenever he will think of this episode, he will get joy. Even listening about it, are you not getting a different kind of a joy? That is the joy of sacrifice. So unless he had sacrificed the ice cream, he would not have got the joy. So, agre vishamiva pariname amritopamam. Any sattvika joy, it comes out of an austerity. Vishnu Sahasranama, you will refuse to chant. We are saying how to chant, remaining straight, doing the proper ucharana, listening to your ucharana, then correcting the tongue position, then doing the ucharana properly, bringing it out from the navel, which he will never do, so that the voice comes properly. All these troubles, if you take for 1 month, you will find so much of joy in chanting. Your brain will be set differently. So unless we undergo some austerity, the real joy we will get. That is the sattvika joy. It is very common to see a person's table absolutely kept unwieldy. The books will be lying here and there, the pen one will be on the fan and one will be on the table. Now, by that, what are you doing? Your mind is becoming absolutely disorderly. Those who are given to this disorderliness, raise your hand, who are given to this. Nobody is ready to learn. Again slow. If you one day you keep your books properly arranged, nicely set and everything, you will find what has happened is something has changed in your brain, in your mind. You find a peace inside. Your mind will become orderly. By just keeping our circumstances well looked after, well arranged, clean, your mind will become clean. So you have to undergo the austerity of looking after everything, keeping them clean, orderly. Then you will get the joy of orderliness. That is the nectarine joy of Sattva Guna. So the Sattvika Sukha is always, initially it is troublesome because you have to undergo discipline, and we are not given to discipline. And through discipline, whatever comes is the nectarine joy of Sattva Guna. This is Sattvika Sukha. Now, you see Sattvika Jnana, 1820. Here all the 3 kinds of jnanas are there, of which the Sattvika Jnana is 1820. Chant it following me. Sarva bhuteshu yenaikam
Sarvabhuteshu yenaikam
bhavam avyayamikshate
bhavamavyayamikshate
avibhaktam vibhakteshu
avibhaktam vibhakteshu
tajnanam vidhi sattvikam
tajnanam vidhi sattvikam
sarvabhuteshu yenaikam
sarvabhuteshu yenaikam
bhavam avyayamikshate
bhavamavyayamikshate
avibhaktam vibhakteshu
avibhaktam vibhakteshu
tajnanam vidhi sattvikam.
Tajnanam vidhi sattvikam.
That jnana is called Sattvika Jnana. Which is that jnana? Jnana can be of various kinds. Suppose you find fault with somebody. that he has got all these bad qualities and all. That is also jnana. Finding good qualities is also jnana. But he says that the Sattvika Jnana is sarva bhuteshu ekam avyayam bhavam ikshate. That the world is multifarious. Everything is different from the others. Otherwise, we will not know the difference of the objects. Everything is different. But underlying this multiplicity of the world, there is one truth. We don't have to go to spirituality. Even in science also, suppose you develop today, instead of this limited eye, you develop electronic microscopic eye. Then all these people will become electron, proton and neutron. Elementary particles, let us say. Whatever color you have worn, that color will no more be seen. All will go waste. You will be a assembly of the elementary particles. The whole world, assembly of elementary. There is no color, nothing. Is it not? Is it not true? Now, further you can go down where you will all become only probability waves. So that particles also will not be there. In science, here what is that? Everybody is an appearance on consciousness. The whole world is appearing on, shining in consciousness. So everybody is made of consciousness. That is the Atma, that is the Brahman. So one who sees the unity in diversity, that is the Sattvagana. It is the ultimate level, that is the knowledge, that finding Atma everywhere. That Bhagavad Gita has discussed so many times. Who sees everything in his own Atma and his Atma in everything. These shlokas are there. Now, even at a lower level also, there you will find some people who are always discovering an unity in diversity. They are the troubleshooters. I mean, not troubleshooters, but those who can compromise and resolve the troubles. That is, suppose 5 people are arguing. This person will be able to see that where A is true, where B is true, where C is true, and he will say that all of you are true, but actually here something is going wrong, there something is going wrong, so why don't you sort out and... So because his mind is not guided by the differential feelings, likes and dislikes. So they will be, such people, there is a name. Peacemaker? Peacemaker you can say. They are the peacemakers. So, they will always, they are not guided by the raga dvesha. So even a criminal he will not hate. Because he knows that he has become a criminal because of some situation. If I have been born as him in his situation, maybe I would also have become a criminal. So there is no point in hating a criminal. Let us see whether we can help him to become good or not. So such attitude is called Sattva Guna orient. This is coming from a lower level of Sattva Guna. The highest level of Sattva Guna is he will find the truth everywhere, Atma everywhere. So naturally in his case the differential notion doesn't come at all. But in a lower level also such people will be respected by others. They will accept everybody, and knowing the differences also they will bring in the unity and diversity. There can be various examples. You can come out with different examples. I can give you another. In my studies in school, I used to find that the thermodynamics professor, heat teacher, the mechanics teacher, the light teacher, everybody will come and they will solve the same equation. Same equation means it is the quadratic equation they will solve and come to the conclusion and tell us. Nobody had told us that these equations, they are not different at all. Actually, the equations we are applying to understand the world is originated from our brain. We want to see the world as the simplest model. We call it simple harmonic motion. Those who have studied science will know. So everything we analyze, we first apply the first factor of that equation, that is giving simple harmonic motion. And we understand the world in that. So I used to say that why every teacher comes and solves the same equation. One person can teach us the equation. Then we say that heat also is explained in terms of this, light also is, or mechanics also is explained in terms of this. That would have given a much deeper knowledge. That we understand that we are trying to understand the world in terms of these simple equations. And where we cannot understand in terms of this, then we go for the higher order equations. Just like expansion in heat cannot be understood by the simple harmonic motion. It is very simple. Suppose the heat expansion is because at a higher temperature the molecules are oscillating with greater energy. Now, if it is simple harmonic motion, then as much it is going there, so much will go there. So no expansion should result. To the object becoming bigger by heat, it has to have an harmonic motion. Then only it will happen. So there we incorporate the second order of equation there. These are so simple things, but the teachers, they don't understand, so they did not teach us also properly. When we studied from Feynman lectures in physics, then I understood that it is such a simple and such a great thing. We understand the whole world, we don't understand. We are trying to understand in a simplified manner, in our own manner, so we are applying those equations. Equations are not in nature, they are in our brain. It's human conception. Mathematics is produced by our mind. So the whole thing, that unity, after that, whenever I used to read something, I would get the whole picture, and it used to give so much of joy. That is the Sattvika joy, that discovering the oneness in multiplicity, discovering unity in multiplicity. That is the Sattvika joy. So he says, Sarva Bhuteshu Yena Ekam Avyayam Bhavam Ikshate. Avyayam means again unchanging. That means they are all appearing on the Atma, which is not changing at all. All the changeful things are happening, but they are all seen against the background, on the screen of unchanging consciousness. Ikshate. Ikshate is a very important work. It is not a vision of the eyes, it is the vision of the buddhi. So this oneness cannot be seen by the eye. People say that after Vedantic realization, how can you interact in the world? Because everything has become Atma. So you cannot take food. Where are you? You also have become Atma. So they don't ask that. It is absolutely impossible. He sees all the differences, but in his buddhi, in his ikshana, that unity dawns in his ikshana. So there is a complete change of vision there. Not that his eyes have become useless to see the differences. But his buddhi has developed that vision, that it is all appearing in, not only in the same, it is my own Atma, my identity. That is everybody's identity. In that identity, the whole universe is appearing to be. It's just shining on that consciousness. So naturally there will be a great change in his vision. Abhibhaktam vibhakteshu. See, in this whole world is a fragmented world. In that, to discover the unity, that it is not fragmented, the unfragmented truth, that is the Atma. The whole world is appearing in my consciousness. What is that consciousness? Is there any color, anything? All are appearing in that consciousness. It is abhibhaktam. Abhibhaktam vibhakteshu. Tad jnanam vidhi sattvikam. Now, what he is saying is that sukha sangena badnati jnana sangena chanaga. Now, everybody will crave for this if he is a good person and he has known the sukha of this kind. What kind of sukha? Yat tadagra vishameva pariname amritopamam. The second line I have not explained. Tat sukham sattvikam proktam atma buddhi prasadajam. This Sattvika Sukha will always come from our real identity, Atma Buddhi. And it will always be carrying along with it a prasada, placidity. Suppose in meditation, when you have a successful meditation, you get the prasada, that Sukha. That is Sattvika Sukha. Whereas when you eat ice cream, it is not that Sukha. So wherever that Sattvika Sukha is there, it is coming from deep within, from our soul, Atma Buddhi. And it has the effect of always an inner bath, a cooling sensation in us. It is called Antashitalata. It is a prasada, it is a placidity of the mind. Sattva guna will always generate this kind of a sukha. Now, won't we not think that, oh, that sukha is very good, let me have that. The one who has cultivated sattva guna, he will be caught by this sukha and this kind of a jnana. What kind of jnana? Shastra reading. Always his knowledge will be about the Atma. That abhibhaktam vibhakteshu, tad jnanam viddhi sattvikam. So a person given to lot of sattvika ahara and all, who has become extremely sattvik, he will revel in reading the shastras, analyzing, writing about the truth, writing about the soul, speaking about the soul, and in the sukha also that is generated by all these things, satsanga and all. But that also is a binding one. That will be he will be bound by that. So he will not know the transcendental reality of the soul. He will get bound by that. One day Swamiji was meditating. He himself says that I was a meditation monger. It's not so. Swamiji was very much clinging to meditation in his young days. When he came to the ashram, one day he was meditating. Now somebody came from the village to ask for something. He was meditating just like our Parikshit. When he came, Shamika Maharshi did not know. So then when he came to know, he thought that what is this? Every day I am meditating, there is nothing new. I get into the peaceful samadhi every day and come back. What is new in it? And I am not able to attend to the people who are coming to me. So that was the end of his meditation. Why should I meditate? Every day going into samadhi and coming back, what is the need for that? I should work for the people, I should see that what they need and all. So he says that was the end of meditation. Thereafter he has only meditated to put others into meditation, not for himself. That he has done. So he was getting bound. He understood that I am getting bound by the meditative sukha, dhyana sukha, which is also a sattvika sukha. So he overcame. Similarly, those who are given to the studies and writing and all, they are given to so much that even if the building falls, he will ask his wife to go and repair it. Or call somebody. He will not get up from studies. Because it gives so much of joy, sattvika joy, that they are not able to transcend it. You see, many panditas, they don't realize the self because they have got bogged down to the reading and interpreting shastras. It is in our saying that those days, if a scholar could reduce one letter in a sutra, aphoristic statements, that Yoga Sutra, Maheshwara Sutra, those sutras are there, aphoristic statements. And a scholar, if he can reduce one letter in a sutra without changing its meaning, then he would get the joy of, our Shastra says, Putralabhananda, that getting a newborn son. The joy will be so much by removing one letter, that is if a son has been born to him, newborn son. So much we get attached to it just for changing the sutras. His all expertise will go with this word, that word, and somehow you remove one letter. And if he becomes successful. The same thing happens in mathematics also, in science also. And that sukha binds us. We are not able to, what are the shastras meant for? Shastras are not meant for scholarly reading or scholarly writing. They are meant for getting liberated. So they forget about liberation. They get trapped by the reading the shastras, sattvika sukha. So this sukha sangena badnati jnana sangena chanaga is very important, that even if you are cultivating more and more sattva guna, you are liable to be bound and trapped by the Sattvika Sukha and Sattvika Jnana. They are extremely binding, much more than the other bondages, because it is the highest kind of a Sukha, highest kind of a Jnana also. And you will not know that you have got bound. Your Guru has to tell you. One sannyasin got so much attached to meditation and he was not able to have the final fulfillment. So he told his Guru, they were staying in Rishikesh and he was meditating in a cave there. The meditation was such that he would get up sometimes and see that the floor is full of scorpions. Cave was like that, but they won't get afraid of it also. But still he was not able to have the fulfillment. One day he told his Guru that I am going to higher up in the Himalayas and sitting in meditation there. In the icy cold Himalayas beyond Kedarnath and all, I am Gangotri. I will go there and sit. Some sadhu is there, he had heard of, that they are meditating in the cave and all. I am going to meditate there. Now the Guru listened to it. He is a very famous Guru. He listened to it and then said, just simply said, he would speak like that. Mahadev. He used to call everybody Mahadev. Mahadev, वो बर्फ में तो भालू भी रहते हैं, वो सब मुक्त हो गया है क्या? Those who understand Hindi will understand. No, none of you understands Hindi. Oh Mahadev, in that icy cold Himalayas, even the bears are there. The ice bears, polar bears. They are also staying in icy cold Himalayas. Have they all become freed, liberated? The bears have all got liberated. You want to go there and stay there and get liberated? So he stopped going. He did not go finally. So the Guru has to prevent that you are getting bogged down by something. What will your meditation do? Until your buddhi, which is suffering from ignorance, unless that the jnana dawns in that buddhi, the knowledge dawns in the buddhi and removes the ignorance, will you become liberated? Your bondage is not in your body. The bondage is in your intelligence, that you are not knowing who am I. The truth is not revealed to you. How will you know? By incorporating knowledge. The knowledge should remove the ignorance and then you become liberated. But these simple truths, even great sadhaks do not realize. See, this is Sattva Guna. Prakasha means light, which reveals. Prakasha means light. But it is not always physical light. In this case, it is the light of knowledge, the light of awareness, consciousness, which reveals everything. So Sattva Guna will lead to understanding. Why are you not able to understand the Shastras? You will say that, many people say that, Swamiji, when you explain, we find it so enlightening. But when I read, I don't get any interest. Because your mind is suffering from Tamoguna. That intelligence is not having the Sattva Guna. To know, read Shastras and understand, the Sattva Guna has to be elevated. Reveals unity in diversity. Generally, people are always having fragmented vision. They are not able to see the overall, a wholesome, comprehensive vision. It's very lacking. To have a comprehensive vision, who will not like? Even the manager should have a very comprehensive vision. For that, they should cultivate Sattva Guna. Then only they will have. Dissolves preferential clinging. Naturally, those who have a comprehensive vision, they will not have so much of preferential clinging. Grows discrimination. That Viveka buddhi is the main thing growing from Sattva Guna. That Viveka and Vairagya are the two main things on which a seeker flies. They are the two wings of a seeker, sadhaka. Depending on Viveka and Vairagya, the sadhaka bird can fly to the liberation. So it enhances Viveka buddhi, conducive to Vidya that leads to ultimate truth. This Vidya part I will explain after reading, talking about all the other two gunas also. That is very important. I will do it later. Prabuddham vimuktam vikaradihinam prasannam sada nitya bodhasvarupam परम निश्चलं निर्गुणं सर्वरूपं भजेऽहं सदानुस्मरामि प्रणौमि प्रबुद्धं विमुक्तं विकारादिहीनं प्रसन्नं सदा नित्यबोधस्वरूपं परं निश्चलं निर्गुणं सर्वरूपं भजेऽहं सदानुस्मरामि प्रणौमि।